A pocket watch, open, ticking, swinging from a chain. Held by a young man named Joe in a clearing beside a Kansas cornfield, sky pregnant with rain. Waiting. He checks the watch, removes his earbud headphones, stands. Without much ceremony, a bloodied man in a suit appears from thin air, kneeling before the young man, hands and feet tied, burlap sack over his head, muffled screams gagged. With no hesitation, Joe raises a squat gun and... So I went to see Jurassic Park in an actual theater for the first time the other day. Still the best, but it made me realize how sort of disillusioned I've become with the special effects in modern films. Now, I'm not one of those CGI has gotten worse people. There's always been good and bad CGI, and the good stuff is the best it's ever been, but that's neither here nor there. The big problem with modern special effects for me is so much of it has lost its magic. I think a lot of the creativity and personality of modern effects have been replaced by excess. Throw a ton of something, anything on the screen, and boom, there's your set piece. Which can totally work, I mean... But excess can be desensitizing when it comes to an effect's magicness, which is exactly why I'm so fascinated by the stripped-down special effects of writer-director Rian Johnson. Johnson has a very minimalist, old-school approach to effects, and I mean like first special effects ever old school. 3 projects come to mind when I think of Rian Johnson and Sci-Fi, but before we dive into those, a quick, massive shout out to the director of photography on all 3 of these projects, Steve Yedlin. He's a genius. Anyway, Looper is about time travel. Usually when I think time travel, I think light bending, sparks flying, flaming tire tracks, but in Looper, the time travel is, well, without much ceremony. Which makes sense practically, it's a low-budget film, but it also makes perfect sense for the world. Looper's setting and story is grounded and gritty, which is only reinforced and heightened by that lack of spectacle. The time travel in Looper is as blunt and impactful as its blunderbusses. Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi brought Johnson's minimalist effects to the mainstream blockbuster. Oh? You didn't like The Last Jedi? You know, actually, your criticisms are fascinating to me. I've never heard any of them 1,000 times already, and this, of course, is the perfect place to air your grievances because I, a total stranger, really, truly care about how much you, a total stranger, disliked this 2-year-old film. Fascinating. The algorithm thanks you for your comment. Johnson does lean towards more contemporary, excessive effects here and there. It is, after all, a massive franchise film, and like I said, excess does not automatically equal bad. But still, there are breathtaking moments of minimalist effects. I'm sure one immediately comes to mind. Even a massive spectacle moment like this is stripped of most of its color and all of its audio. That is, until... Whew, goosebumps. But the effect that impressed me most was the force bond between Kylo and Rey. In a galaxy of holograms and force ghosts, there's nothing more striking than just shot, reverse shot, shot, reverse shot. These scenes are all about building this human-to-human connection between them, and what better way to do that than to have them just talk human-to-human. No wispy telekinetic voiceover or glowing translucent projections to distract you from that connection. It's intimate, vulnerable, human. So give this man his Star Wars trilogy, I swear to God! In 2018, Rian Johnson directed the music video / short film for LCD Sound System's Oh Baby. The video is about an older couple, played by the phenomenal Sissy Spacek and David Strathairn, who finally solve the formula, move out to the country, order the parts, build the machine, plug it in, and then... Just like with time travel, pop culture has a lot of presumptions when it comes to how teleportation should look, and Rian Johnson ignores all of those, which results in my absolute favorite of his special effects. And that's because later in the music video, the couple's house gets broken into and Sissy Spacek's character gets shot. So her husband, actually, hold on. We'll get back to that. First, a real quick history lesson. Super quick. Paris, 1896. Stage magician Georges Méliès is obsessed with this hot new tech called filmmaking. He's filming a busy street when the crank on his camera jams. You had to manually crank the film through the camera back then. He fixes it and starts filming again. But when he watches the footage back, at that moment his crank had stopped working, something magical happens. In the blink of an eye, a carriage full of people turns into a hearse. And that's how Georges Méliès accidentally invented one of the first special effects, the jump cut. This is an in-camera effect achieved simply by stopping the camera, changing something in the frame, and then starting the camera again. Sounds familiar. Méliès used this and other simple yet groundbreaking special effects in dozens of films, including 1902's A Trip to the Moon. For Méliès, filmmaking was a chance to do what he'd been doing as a stage magician for years: create magic. As a philosophy nerd and a video essayist, I've learned that it is incredibly hard to successfully communicate a complex idea in a complex way. And it is 1,000,000 times harder to communicate a complex idea in a simple way. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, which is why I am so blown away by what Rian Johnson has done. The time travel, the force bond, the teleportation, every one of those effects could have been done in 1896, and each one captures that same magic, the magic of filmmaking. When modern effects go for excess, Johnson's without much ceremony special effects feel more grounded and elegant and human. He boils the effects down to their absolute essentials. And doing that eliminates any distractions. The effects communicate exactly what they want to communicate, putting that complex idea in its simplest form front and center in your mind, letting your imagination fill in the rest. I personally think that truly great special effects do one of two things: strengthen the emotional storytelling of the film or ignite your imagination. And Rian Johnson's effects do both of those things in the simplest, purest way possible. At the end of the Oh Baby music video, the couple's house gets broken into and Sissy Spacek's character is shot. Her husband picks her up, ties a string to himself and the teleporter's power cord, and carries her in. A heartbreaking, complex, beautiful idea floating for an eternity between here and there, which particle effects and lens flares would only distract from. A complex beauty that you can only really achieve through simplicity. Hey guys and otherwise, it's been a minute. Like a full minute, but I figured I'd put something a bit shorter together while we wrap up some bigger projects, so this is that. One very large shout out to Reverb Machine, who supplied all of those synth covers of the LCD Sound System songs that you heard throughout the entire video. They are amazing, go check out all their stuff. As always, we do not monetize our videos, so if you want to help us make more stuff, go check out the Make Stuff Patreon. We've got early access and commentary editions for videos and exclusive podcasts, behind the scenes vlogs, blogs, live streams, everything. You can even get a shout out at the end of every video, like these simply beautiful stuff makers: Jan, Julie Remley, Tyler Anderson, Michael Fino, The Lone Chemist, High Top Films, Conroe Brooks, Polyphonic, TC Arkenberg, V, Alexis B, Brian Ball, Gabriel, Sandy Swagger, a massive shout out to Stephanie Rule, and last but never least, Kira Greenfield, plus all these other brilliant makers of stuff. Anyway, go check out patreon.com/makestuffstudios, and as always, go make stuff.
I can't believe you made that joke about not caring about my angry comment. I'm gonna leave an angry comment.